Yeah. Yeah. So just want to give you a little bit of disclaimer. Whatever we learn here, just for learning purpose, education. So not to do any unauthorized access or any illegal activities. So yeah, just be mindful on that. Like that's all. Yeah. So let's try today SQL injection. There is a very common attack. SQL injection. Shortcut SQLI, a very common attack, very popular attack, one of the popular attacks. So to understand this attack, I think you require few things to be understood. One is what is SQL like? So you probably know SQL is like they call like structured query language. It is mostly used to query data. Query data. Query means you send a request, you will get a response, something like that. Query data on database. So you can store data, example, uh, delete, update, filter, etc., etc. So basically, SQL is more like I'll just put it in this way. You have a database. You can think like database is like a physical disk, example, like a disk, like hardware, example. That's a database. And you have your client. Client means, let's say your computer, whatever, like you have a client or something, whatever. And when user types something, let's say username and password example. So the username and password is stored here in the database example. So SQL comes in the center. The SQL is the one that takes these input and queries it here and says that, hey, is username and password existed? If it existed, obviously you get the response. If not existed, then depends on the application. But SQL sits center mostly. You write the SQL queries in order to query the database for either storing the data, updating, deleting, fetching, filtering, whatever that is like. So that is what SQL means. We can even see simply, let me show you some simulations. There are some online compilers. Let's say if I open, you try SQL online compiler, let's say. Yeah, you can see. This is online. You can write some SQL queries here. You can run them. You will get the output and everything here. So you can see some existing data is there, customers, orders. So you write the queries here. So this is what SQL we call it. You basically query the language and this SQL online. Yeah. So what I do is typically I'll just create a small database for you so that we can have an idea. First, I'll delete these tables. So you can write SQL command to delete these tables. There's a command called drop table name. Okay. 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 So let's just create a simple table, simple data. Let's say username and password example. Let's say we are storing some customer data or user data, whatever we call it. It doesn't matter. The user has some information like columns, maybe something like first name. Let's say user ID first name, last name, username and password. Typically, let's add some location also just to play with it. The sample data looks like this. Let's say first name ID, first name Bob, uh, let's say Smith. Username is Bob at the rate, something like that. Bob, Bob into. Password is whatever password. Test method. Location, whatever the location is, like Lambda. Yeah. So this is how you can create some database. So I will first create some dummy database. Or just use help of ChatGPT to generate the data. SQL queries to generate some dummy data, creating table and everything. Yeah, I can copy this one, copy. We will save these commands so that you can see later. I will execute it here. Okay, you can see a table is created. This is SQL only. It's not, we are not even talking about attack. We are just talking about how SQL works. Then we can learn about how SQL injection works. Yeah, some dummy data let's create. And this is some dummy data. Copy, paste. I will also save it. Okay. Yeah, you can see we have some dummy data. We have a table like first name, last name, username, password, location, whatever. Typically, SQL is used to store, retrieve, filter the data. For example, let's say I want to only show the record of Bob. I will write some queries like this. Select from. So before we attack them, we'll just try to fetch the record. Let's I'll type table name. Table name is user. Where example first name equal some Bob. Yeah, I can see. When I run this query, I'll get the output, this record. If I give, of course, wrong example, you can see SQL query executed, but result is empty. Like similarly, I can try Alice, or I can try all us London, maybe London people. London is location, not first name. So location. So all the people London. So these are the queries just to fetch the data. So typically, when you go to any login page, example, let's say we go to our platform. Share this. Let's say if you go to our platform, you log out. You typically have a username and password, like email ID, password example. You enter your email ID, you enter your password. In the back end, the SQL query will run something like this. Select start from username, where username equal, example. Let's give a username, Bob123, and password equal, let's say test123. So if I run it, it will query, it will look at it. Username is matched, password is also matched. So that's why you get this record. If you give password wrong example, obviously you will not get the result. So this is how typically SQL works, like query, retrieve. If you enter correct details, you will get the data. If you don't enter correct details, you will not get the data. Simple. So now the question is, now you think like an attacker. So obviously you don't know passwords. So that's the reason main you want to crack. Maybe you may know username, or maybe you also don't know username. That's also fine. But you still want to access the data. So that is what SQL injection means. SQL injection means that, let me try. You write some, they call malicious malicious SQL code, example, SQL query, and inject it to retrieve data, whatever data you get. So obviously the main reason is you don't know anything. You don't know names, passwords, nothing. You don't know anything. But your idea is to create a small some SQL code they call malicious code, and let's query it and see what data we get. So that is what SQL injection means. Like, you can do it for passwords, you can do it for usernames, you can do it for any other things. But let's try for username and password because that's what most common people discuss, and that's very interesting to do. So let's try. Yeah, so far what I told you is just basic SQL idea only. It has nothing to do with the attack, nothing to do with the thing. But you should know how SQL works. If you know how SQL works, we can write better SQL injections like never. So let's try one. Now let's try some injection. Write the same query. Select star from user where username. Here I don't know anything about username. Here I have no idea of username. Now here I'll inject small script, small malicious code. You can find that code also easily, but the main reason is the core idea is tell you something like you can try something like this. Let me try this. Copy. Let's say username. That will give the token, okay? So let me try. Since we're using online compiler, I just have to be this also. Just a second, I'll just find the query. I already have some previous codes. Maybe let me take in something like this. This will something this. Again, you can make up the query later. It's easy only. It's not that big a deal. User, your username is called here dummy, or you can give anything. It doesn't matter. Something like this query. Just observe this one. Let me try. Copy, paste. Let me try. Yeah. Yeah. So you see that, right? Like what's happening output. Output, I'm getting all the rows. Why is that happening? So let's try to understand the query. So so you can say select star from user. That's normal. Where username equal. So typically you need to give the right name. For example, let's say normal query. Let's say this is normal query. You will give a username something. Example Bob. Bob 123, I guess. Bob 123. So this is a normal query. So this is just to get the Bob's data. Now this is an SQL injector query. Injector query. You see, up to here is same, but from here onward, you will see like, the single quotes or this. So I will just tell you a few things first, then we can go. The first thing here you need to understand is this part. Copy it and paste it. What this part does is you are basically comparing, hey, is 1 equal to 1? Obviously, that is true. Not only 1 equal 1, you can make 2 equal to. That's also same. That's also same. Because if you can write 2 equal, let me try this. Copy, paste, try. I'll try 2 equal to. You still get the idea. 20 equal 20. You still get the idea. So it doesn't matter, but what you have to do is you have to make this thing. You can write even text also. I equal to I. I equal to I. You will get. So as long as these two are same, the condition is always true. So that is the first step you need to notice. People usually give 1 equal 1, but you can give anything. It doesn't matter. So that's the first thing to observe. And the second thing to observe is something like or. So typically in SQL, or means this is a link. You're basically saying that, hey, select the table where username equal empty. Obviously, if you run this line, nothing happened. Because username equal to empty, there is no row username equal to empty. But by adding this or means, hey, either you select the username is empty or this condition true. So this or is usually SQL takes as a command, SQL command or SQL query, SQL syntax. That's part of SQL syntax. So basically it's saying that you either take the username empty or you take this condition. So obviously this is not true. There is no username empty, but still you have an or command. Then the or command means it will check this. It is always true. And now when I run the query passes like this is passes. SQL accepts it. Hey, is querying username either empty or condition is true. Condition is true. I will fetch the entire table. The entire table is there. Again, you don't know username. Still, you are able to get the entire data by injecting this small snippet. And you have to notice these things also. These exact thing. This code, you can change it, whatever you like, as long as same. Obviously, this is bad, but it still works. Typically, people try 1 equal 1. It looks like good thing to talk. Yeah, the whole idea of SQL injection is you make sure to make this true and put a or between. So that is what the idea is in it. Similarly, I can try password also. For example, let's say instead of username, I can simply say password. Still same. You're basically checking is the password is either true or either empty or this condition is true. In between also you can give anything. This doesn't matter. You can give anything because this condition, even if this condition is false, you still have this condition is true. This is always true. So that is the trick of SQL injection. So typically people give username and password. Let's say I can give you username. I'll give username of let's say Bob maybe. And password. It doesn't matter what I give. Because the condition this will always be true. And there is a or in between. That's the idea. This is always true and this or is there. Now you can take any table, not only user table, you can take any column not only username, first name, last name. Even if password is hashed, you still get it back because this it doesn't check the password. It just checks, okay, you checked it, okay, it's fine. But this is the main killer. Like, it is always true. It doesn't matter. Even the password is hashed or complex. It's a what a big password like. Still, it doesn't check anything. It just checks only this part. So this is what SQL injection fundamentally works. It's like a vulnerability in SQL code. It's not vulnerability. It's more like it's a feature, not a bug actually. But since a good developers, know that, hey, this is not how you write the SQL queries, because if you write this way, people can come and attack. So they will write in a slightly different way usually, but that's a prevention. I mean, that's a defense, not attack. But from attacker perspective, you try to inject these kind of code. Of course, the more you know SQL, the better. You can write more filter conditions. You can write a lot more joins, etc., etc. Uh, but this is again simplest way to understand the SQL injection. You write a small code that acts like SQL code. It always results true, so you can attack the table. Like the table data will come. So I have a small app. We have a small lab. In the lab, SQL injection is there. You can try it. For example, let's say go. So here I have to enter username and password. Let's say enter some dummy data. Send. You can see invalid credentials. Invalid. Invalid. Now let me write that injection script here, and we will see. It will crack. I'll just reload it. So go to app.degen.xyz, SQL injection. Username doesn't matter, or I will make it username only. Password doesn't matter. I'll just type in random. Here I'll write some SQL injection query. I think it's already have some. Event. I will write it by myself. This doesn't work actually. We need to give double quotes. Okay, this also bad. You have to give SQL keys. We'll try actually. This one. Yeah, so I just have to check the exact thing. Let me try it. It will work actually. Can I have this empty? This empty. You have empty, you're checking our function, whether that will be true or not. Let's try the same thing, copy. Okay, code is working fine, but you're getting invalid. So let me try this. Should be double quotes only. It's taking like this actually. So it is taking like this, password equal this, but we don't want like that. We want something like this. We want something like this actually. So in order to make this, I can copy this part, copy. Yeah, so it's taking, yeah, just have to check in the background actually, but again, you try it, it will work. Just try that code, double quotes, single quotes. Make sure you make this true and you leave this actually. You cannot take this, it is taking strings only. Let's try these things actually. Health insurance. You have to use spaces actually. This will throw the SQL syntax. Okay. Then you add this. It's also valid. Then you can take this. It will throw invalid SQL. Yeah, the vulnerability is there. You can try cracking it. It's there. Syntax is the thing. Yeah, invalid syntax is fine. But you can crack it. You take some time out. You have a vulnerability is there. It is possible. So right now I just have to check like how I can try it. But if I take some time, I can crack that. It's a matter of how you can arrange this string so that it will become true. Like not only one, you can add anything, but make sure you have to uh, make it look like this query. The query should look like this. It's like this is empty, and you have or condition separate, and you have a condition true. Usually in this app, it will take this. Then I give a command like this. Then I give a or command. Okay. And then I will give this equal one, equal one. I give, will take this. If I read this, I remove this. Copy. Password. Yeah, I'm not sure why invalid comment to me. Yeah, this is the code exact, it will match. Let's see. Yeah, I'll try it on later on this one, but you can spend some time as a part of lab. The vulnerability is there. This is our acting platform only, like simulation. You get the idea, right, from the online compiler.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, just like this, the whole idea is that you make this as a true and you add a or command in between.
Mm-hmm.
It should look like SQL query. So right now I'm
Mm-hmm.
trying different possibilities. So it's saying that SQL query not, for example, if I add this is not a good SQL query. So
Mm-hmm.
even if I give single quotes and stuff like that, it's a syntax error or something like that. So those things will come. Just a second. Yes, sorry. Yeah, so you make sure you can see that, right? There is some SQL syntax coming because it's a mismatched form. So somehow maybe I don't need to give this. So you see unrecognized token, you see this is coming as this. So you try then. So those things you just have to carefully write it. Again, depends on the app to app, not like everything will work well. You can see this is also bad. You can see it's passing SQL, but it is taking something like this. This is not right. It's not matching. Like this and this matching. So it should match like this. And it should match like this. Then it makes sense. So I have to give up to here. Yeah, some either two ways. Either string will be like this. This is one right answer. So this entire thing treats as a password. So this codes is a string, this ending and so this entire thing is the malware, malicious injection like this one. Same thing for this also. So this entire thing is the injected script. So this is how the starting and actually both work. I'm not sure why it's the website is not one. It's a wonderful one. It's our lab only. Let's try which one is correct for a web app. Double question parameters. Yeah, it's not legal, but again, it is for education purpose only. Okay, yes, yes. Yeah, I'm not trying password. That's the problem. Yes, yes. Okay, you see that, right? It's coming. Admin, so I can reload. Let's reload. So enter the username, enter anything. Password, I enter this. Just copy paste it. You can see welcome. I'll paste whatever I pasted. This. So this is exact this part. I can do anything, of course. Other than this, I can say 10. That also works. Copy, paste. Yeah, you see. So again, usually defenders are usually strong. Right now, it's just a simulation. Like this website is vulnerable just for education purpose, for SQL injection. But yeah, the whole idea is working. Maybe you can make these kind of malicious code to bypass the authentication of admin log. I'll say hi equal hi, bye equal bye. It doesn't matter. Still works. If I make it double I, then it will be because this works actually. Then it will get invalid. Yeah, for this website, username and password both should be passed actually. But in SQL, you can see you can give only one of them, it still works. You don't need two of them. Yeah, so that is the idea of SQL injection. You can attack websites, bypass authentication, you can attack databases. Wherever SQL is used, if you know that they use SQL, you know something about somebody, you can try. But again, make sure to use for good ethical reasons, not to attack or hack or somebody. For strictly used for ethical reasons. Yeah. Any questions? Anything? Maybe I can take it. But that's the gist of SQL injection.